Hi everybody, I'm Dee from Eastside Training Squad and I'm here to run you through just a 30-minute mat Pilates session. This will just be a full body flow, so very brief, just a nice way to sort of keep you up to speed and your Pilates practice. So we'll start with finding our standing neutral posture this morning, and then we will eventually come down to the mat and complete the sequences on the floor. So I want you to just ensure that your toes are pointing forward and we're in a parallel leg position, hips, knees and feet in a nice vertical line. Think about a neutral pelvis also, so the hips and the pubic bone are in line. We haven't tilted forward or leant back. Moving on up the body, thinking about drawing in the rib cage or scooping in the tummy button. So we've got the abdominals engaged. So we're thinking about our centering here, and I will cue you about your centering as we work through our session this morning. I want you to relax your shoulders, the chest is nice and open, and we just try and maintain a neutral chin position. So let's start with just some breathing. So in through the nose, breathing from the diaphragm, and exhaling. And if you wish to place your hand on your diaphragm and your belly, filling the belly with air as we inhale and deflating the belly as we exhale. Just a couple more. And exhale. And last one. Let's start by taking a breath in to prepare, reaching the arms overhead on your exhale. Inhaling, extending those arms and just rounding through the shoulders and rolling through the spine. Let that head relax. Let those arms go nice and heavy. Taking a moment there to draw the belly button in, breathing in to prepare, exhale, rolling back up to standing. Let's do one more of those forward folds or standing roll downs. Rolling back up through the spine, holding those arms extended overhead, taking a breath in, exhaling, keeping those hips nice and stable, and extending those arms, inhaling as you're centering, and exhaling across to the other side. Let's just do one more of these lateral flexion movements, releasing through that lower spine. Inhaling to center, let those arms relax down by your sides. Shrug and roll out those shoulders if necessary. Floating those arms forward, making sure your hands are no higher than your chest. Taking a moment there to prepare with a breath in. We're going to exhale, keep the hips nice and still once again. Let the eyes follow the movement of your hands, sweeping back with control to center on your inhale and exhaling to the other side. Let's do two more. Good, inhaling back to center, relaxing those arms. Let's just step out a little wider for our next sequence of standing moves. Reaching those arms up, we created a nice X shape with the body. Taking a breath in, exhaling, reaching, opposite hand towards opposite foot, looking up over the extended arm. Inhale and sweep back up to your X shape. Exhaling. And inhale. Now we've got the abdominals cued or engaged. We've got that centering happening, drawing the belly button in and inhaling as we float back up. Let's do one more each side. And last one, nice exhale. Nice long arms, reaching those fingertips, looking over that rear shoulder. Relax those arms back down to your sides. We'll step it into parallel leg position once again. Into some very gentle squats. We're going to go offering arms with these squats. Taking a breath in to prepare. Exhaling. And inhale. Let's do 3 more. Last one coming up. Changing our foot position to almost like a plie squat or ballet position number 1. Our arms will be a little different. What I want you to focus on as we come back to this tall position is thinking about squeezing your thighs as we inhale. Breath in to prepare. Exhale. Inhale and squeeze those thighs. Exhaling. Inhale and press. 3 more. Nice soft elbows. Reaching those fingertips up. Lovely, very, very tiny little movement here. Last one. And squeezing. Relaxing on that exhale. Let's turn those toes forward, moving feet one at a time. And stepping out, slightly wider position with the feet again. If you prefer to turn the toes out slightly at a 10 to 2 position, absolutely fine. We're going to extend the arms laterally as we sink down into a deeper sumo squat, or you can go into genie arms, and I'm actually going to go genie arms. I'll show you both movements though. Breath in to prepare, drawing the belly button in, sinking hips back and down. Focus your gaze forward. Try to avoid looking at the floor. Nice big breath in as we float up with control. I'll do second movement pattern with the arms if you wish. We're just going to do 2 more. I'll finish with the lateral arms. Thinking about that centering. Nice big exhale as we come down, and an inhale as we float up. Again, roll and shrug through those shoulders. We're just going to step it in to parallel leg position. So I'm going to come to the end of my mat, and we are going to come down to the floor and finish our sequencing on the floor. So take it back to your forward fold or your standing roll down. An inhale to prepare. Exhaling. We've got the centering happening. Good. Take a moment here to exhale and walk those fingertips forward into our high pike position, or you may know it as a downward facing dog from your yoga practice. Holding there just to enjoy that stretch. Taking a breath in when you're ready. Walking the hands further out and releasing those knees to the floor. I'm just going to rest the tops of the feet on the floor. I'm just going to place my wrists under my shoulders. Neutral chin. Move the hair out of the way. And we have knees under the hips. We're just going to start with some flexion and extension through the spine. So taking a breath in to prepare. We're going to flex through the spine, tucking the chin, rounding the spine into a C curve, scooping the belly button in. Inhale to neutral and exhale to extended spine. Eyes looking forward and pulling that tailbone up to the ceiling. Inhale to your neutral, exhale, flexion. Inhale to neutral, extension. Last extension. Take that nice inhale to neutral and just breathing out when you are ready to do so. Let's take this down to, I'm actually going to turn face on to you. We're going to work through some hip strengthening, mobility, and also some shoulder strengthening and mobility. And we will be incorporating the core with these movements, of course, the thighs, front and rear, the hips, the lower back, and the abdominals. So I'm going to use the long edge of my mat as a little bit of a reference point here. So just bringing one leg out, either resting the sole of the foot on the floor or resting the inside edge of the foot on the floor, so your sole of the foot is facing away from you. So we're going to keep this alignment here, shoulder, hip to knee. I'm just going to rest the fingertips on the floor. I'm going to support the head with this hand, so really spread those fingertips out. Elbows pointing up, taking a breath in, and I want you to exhale and rotate through the shoulder, look towards the fingertips on the floor. The elbow will point to the floor. Inhale and exhale. Nice breath in and exhale. So really thinking about drawing that belly button in. We're using the abdominals and the hips to stabilize us through this movement. Let's do one more. Nice inhale here. Exhale. Bring that elbow back up. If you do need to come upright, make sure you got that elbow pointing up first. Now I'm just going to add on to the sequence. You can repeat that again for another 6 repetitions if you're comfortable with the foot on the floor. Otherwise, we want a little more challenge. We're going to set it up. Fingertips will be slightly further away to allow for the movement of this leg or foot up off the floor. So a couple of variations here. Same setup, hands a little further away to allow the shift of the hip. Breath in, exhale, and inhaling. Exhale, and inhale. Beautiful, nice rotation through those shoulders, drawing that belly button in, keep that breathing going. You can lower the toe, of course, towards the floor. You could just have the big toe resting on the floor. So those are your variations with that leg. Good, last one. Take a moment there, placing the side of the foot or the sole of the foot on the floor to line or level those shoulders up. Let's repeat that on the other side. So lining knee and toe up at the edge of the mat. This first set, we're going to keep the foot on the floor. So inside edge, sole of the foot, your choice. So fingertips on the floor, fingertips on the head. Breath in to prepare and rotating through. Trying to point the elbow to the floor and elbow to the ceiling. Exhaling as we are rotating down and inhale as we are rotating up. I'm trying not to breathe too heavily because I have a microphone very close to my mouth. Good, just taking your time with these movements. Good, pausing there. You can reset if you need to. Get the shoulders a little roll out. Just bringing the hand a little further out to allow for the lift of this foot off the floor. Exhaling. Inhale. We're just working through 6 of these shoulder rotations. Should be starting to feel these glutes working to keep that leg suspended, or perhaps you've just got the toe hovering off the floor. We could just have that big toe resting on the floor. Exhaling. Inhale, holding there, lower that toe to the floor and coming on up, leveling those shoulders. Well done. Okay, I'm going to go side on for the next movement for you. Still on hands and knees, and we are going to change very shortly. So we're going to work through some combination movements, and I'll give you variations as we work through these. So we'll start with our 4-point kneeling, so wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and you'll see I've got my heels raised. Taking a breath in to prepare. Scooping that belly button in if it wasn't already. Exhaling and just hovering off the knees. Inhale, lower with control. I really want you to think about pulling that belly button up away from the floor. Good, just working through 2 more of these. Nice breath out. Eyes focus to the floor. Try and focus your gaze just between the tops of your fingertips. Let's add on to this movement. Exhale, extending the leg out. And inhale, just popping that knee back under the hip. Exhale, extending that leg out. I want you to feel the quads contracting as you lengthen that leg, pressing the ball of the foot to the floor. And inhale, returning knee under the hip. Again, just 4 of these. Now we're going to add these 2 movements together. Option 1, just lifting. Inhale as you return knees under hips. Now we're going to do 4 of these. The more challenging option is lifting up, stepping back, inhale, and keeping those knees hovering. Now we're going to switch the leg that we extend out. And you may be returning to kneeling with the knees connected to the floor. Just bringing those knees down if you are hovering. If you need to, take it back into hips to heels or child's pose stretch, just briefly. Take your time coming on back up. I'm going to add on to that combination. So I'm going to step it back as I did before. Both legs will be extended, but before we return to our 4-point kneeling or panther position, I'm going to call it, we're going to take it into a pike. So breath in to prepare, heels up, stepping back, you can either hover the knees off, breath in to prepare. Watch the shift of my shoulders and hips. Shoulders are going to go behind the wrists, hips are coming up. Breath in, exhaling, returning to panther, knees down or knees up. Breathe in, stepping out, high plank, exhale into pike. Breathe in, walking into your panther. Let's go 2 more times. Exhaling, pushing into your plank, pike. And stepping in. Last time through. Extending out, high plank, breath in, exhale into your pike. And exhale back to panther. And you can rest those knees on the floor. Take it into a child's pose. Just stretch it out for a few moments. And we're going to shift our position now to lying supine on the floor. So I'm just going to, sorry, not lying, not just yet, seated. I'm going to do a little bit of tipping point and rolling like a ball, just to get some nice flexion through the spine, and then we will come down to the floor. Just going to shift that mat a little further back. So with your seated position, I want you just to connect the inside of the feet together. The heels are just lifted off the floor and we have the toes resting on the floor. So you can either hug your knees together, wrapping the hands around the upper part of the shins, and I want your arms and legs connected. Just focus your gaze forwards, your chin's nice and neutral, and almost slightly rounding your shoulders. Now of course you've got that belly button pulled in. Just taking a breath in, and I want you to exhale back, balancing on your sit bones, and inhale and coming forward. Exhale, and inhale. Just be mindful of that connection to your center, drawing the belly button in, feeling the abdominals working to help stabilize you. Let's just do one more. Good, just holding this position. We'll take it now into roll like a ball. And I want you to think about maintaining that nice C-curved spine, the connection to your center. So we've got those abdominals scooped in, and we're going to keep those legs connected and those arms attached to those legs. So again, thinking about a nice sphere shape of the body, very rounded. Breathing pattern will be a little different. We're going to inhale as we roll back. Breathe in. Inhale. Let's do 2 more. Now we should be using the abdominals. We're keeping them in that sort of very connected state to assist with controlling the movement of the body back and to also assist the movement of the body up. So that's as far as we're going to go with our roll series today. So just your tipping point and roll like a ball. Either bring those knees back up, you're going to have feet connected to the floor, or if you're comfortable, legs extended. So if you're sitting with the legs extended or knees soft, shoulders and hips in line on this next movement. Extending those arms forward, looking over the top of your thumbs, scooping in that belly button in readiness to inhale, and seated roll back. Nice inhale as we rise up, lining those shoulders and hips. Neutral spine here, C-curve spine here. Another couple of these, in time with your breathing, of course. Just work on keeping that connection to your centre. Belly button scooped in. This is our last seated roll back. And then we are going to go to seated roll down all the way down to the floor. Breath in when you're ready. Exhale, scooping in that belly button. I want you just to start to lower your arms by your sides. Let your fingertips lower. The spine is lowering, descending to the floor. Shoulder blades, arms and head. Now, if you've got the luxury of a cushion, pop it under your head. Sometimes it is nice to have the cushion, so we end up having the chin and the forehead aligned. Sometimes if you're down on the floor, you can have that chin pushed up a little higher than forehead, and it does impact through your upper spine, your cervical spine. All right, we're nice and heavy on the floor. We're going to focus a little bit on neutral and imprinted spine. So I'm going to shift this hand out of the way. Hopefully you can see the shift of spine position as we start to work through. Let's bring legs into relaxed position. I'm just going to lift the hips and roll them down. And you guys will have your arms nice and heavy to the floor beside you. What I want you to think about is the chest is really nice and open, plugging your shoulder blades to the floor. And thinking about parallel leg position, just as we did when we first started the session. And thinking about really pressing your hips to the floor and hopefully feeling a little gap between the back of your waist and the floor. And if you're not sure if it's there, just slide your fingertips, palms down, either side of the back of the waist. And it's a nice tactile way of feeling the shift with your pelvis and your spine. So breath in to prepare. What I want you to do is imprint the center of your spine to the floor and just feel the hips shift a little. Take a breath in. Exhale, press the pelvis heavy to the floor and just lifting the spine ever so gently off the floor. You'll feel that weight shift. Inhale, imprint spine, slight pelvic tilt up. Inhale. Neutralize the spine, press the pelvis down. And you should be feeling the relationship between here and here. Imprinting, a little tilt up, and neutralizing, a little tilt down. Okay, let's add on to that with a pelvic tilt. Taking a breath in to prepare with me. Exhaling, just lifting the hips or the pelvis off the floor, tilting the hip bones up to the ceiling. You're going to feel the spine imprint. Let's lower as we exhale. I beg your pardon. Inhale. Exhaling, tilting up. Inhale, rolling down and feeling that sequencing of your spinal column. Peeling all the way up, very, very lower bones, rolling up, just lumbar spine, and then releasing back down. Let's just do a couple more of these. And of course, we had that belly button pulled in or scooped in, or the ribs kind of wrapping in, right, nice and controlled there. Let's work on expanding that movement into our bridge. Bridge, really nice for releasing through the hip flexors, a little bit of stretching here, as well as your strengthening element through the rear facing muscles. stretching happening through the upper or front facing muscles. Breathe in to prepare, shoulder blades nice and heavy, chest open. Exhaling, rolling, peeling the pelvis up off the floor, lifting the spine bone by bone in sequence. Holding there to take a breath in. And I want you to think about pressing bone by bone down to the floor. Rolling through, resting that pelvis nice and heavy. We're back to neutral spine, that tiny little gap in the back of the waist. When you're ready, inhale to prepare, exhale, rolling through, lifting into your bridge position, arms are anchored. Good, belly button's connected. Breath in at the top when you're ready, exhaling and feeling the bones one by one descending all the way back down to the floor. I'm just going to add in a little variation in your bridge this morning. Exhaling, rolling up, maintaining your bridge position. I'm going to pause here to take a breath in. I'm going to exhale and just hover the hips down and inhale and lift the hips. Exhale, inhale. Think about keeping the hip bones level as we lower and level as we lift. Now you should be feeling this quite intensely through the glutes and the hamstrings, so those rear thigh muscles. We're working through the abdominals as well and lower back. So again, the whole core is working. Just got one more. Nice breath out as we lift, lift, lift. Feeling this quite actively squeezing and contracting through these rear facing muscles. Let's hold here for a moment. And we're going to exhale and descend. Spine rolling down, bone by bone by bone. If you need to, just pop those legs up. You might want to rock it out. Little window wiper stretch. You can hug the knees if you wish. Just be mindful when you replace those feet on the floor. We want to line back up into parallel leg position. Our second variation with bridge this morning is one leg extended, and you can keep the hips grounded for this if it's a little uncomfortable staying up in bridge for an extended period. We're just going to be working through 6 of these. Option 1, floating the leg up, point the toe to the ceiling, heel and hip are in line. Breath in, exhale lifting. Reaching the toe to the ceiling and inhale and rolling down. If that's the option you've chosen, I want you to work through alternating through those movements with the legs. If you're up in bridge, you're going to raise one leg first and you're just going to work through 3 hovers on single leg. You'll return, you're maintaining your bridge, you're going to float the other leg up. Gently return that foot to the floor, parallel leg position. Taking a breath in to roll down out of your bridge. As I said, we're just doing a very brief session this morning. We're back down in relaxed position. Hug those knees, rock it out if you need to. We're just going to finish with some abdominal curls. Before we get into that, some single leg stretches and some leg rotations. So first things first, I'm just going to warm up for the abdominal curls as well. Parallel leg position, shoulders plugged to the floor. I want you to take a breath in. I'm going to lift right leg up as I reach the head and shoulders off the floor, supporting the leg with the hands around the calf, holding that stretch. Inhale as you lower. Let's go other leg. Nice inhale as you return. Feeling this lovely stretch through your tibialis anterior, through the front of the shins, and we're getting a nice release through the hamstrings as well. Let's do 4 more of these. Just have a watch for the change through the foot position. I want you to gently flex. Very gentle and controlled with these feet flexing. just in order to control that movement through the Achilles tendon. Now we're getting this lovely stretch right through this tendon, up through the calves. We're going to do 2 more in your own time with the breathing pattern. Exhaling. Nice inhale as we lower. Last one. Rolling head and shoulders up off the floor. Nice exhale as you release. Just thinking about that neutral spine position. Pelvis is nice and heavy. Tiny little gap between the back of the waist and the floor. Can you, when you're ready, please extend one leg, lengthening it out along the floor. I want you to float the other leg up. If you can try and maintain this neutral spine position, please do. Otherwise, it's more comfortable just resting that spine on the floor. Pointing the toe directly up to the ceiling, taking a breath in, keeping those hip bones nice and stable. As you circle on your exhale, close the circle, take a breath in, and exhale again. If you're unsure if you're keeping that pelvis stable, just rest your fingertips on your hip bones as I am doing here. We're just going to do one more in this direction. Close the circle with a breath in, and let's rotate in the other direction for 4, for 3, last 2, and the final circle. Just folding that knee gently, heel connects to the floor, slide that leg along. When you're ready, floating that leg up, other side. Exhaling, circle. Really doesn't matter which direction you go in first either. Just maintaining those nice level hips, pelvic stability, belly button drawn towards your spine or scooped in or zipped up. So think about pulling your pubic bone to your tummy button. Let's go for the other direction. Exhale. Last one. So working through mobility and flexibility through those hips, just resting on the floor, legs extended nice and long, opening through those hip joints. We're just going to finish, as I promised, with some abdominal curls to complete your mini session of mat Pilates this morning. So can you please return your feet to a relaxed position, or legs rather, parallel leg position, hips, knees and feet in line. We're going to support the head with the hands. I'm just going to turn and show you how I want you to place your fingertips. Thumbs either side of the neck. Just really spread those fingertips out around the circumference of your spine. Up spine, head. My goodness. Only two days in on holiday and I'm losing it. Okay, so elbows nice and wide. We've got that slightly neutral spine, pelvis is nice and heavy. Take a breath in, exhale, float one leg up into tabletop as you curl. Inhale and return. Alternating legs with this movement. We're doing 4 more. Inhale as you return. Elbows stay nice and wide. Let the fingertips assist you lifting that heavy weight of head up off the floor. And let the fingertips support the weight of the head back to the floor. Focus your gaze up over the top of your knees and keeping that chin nice and neutral. Last one. Beautiful. Back to the floor. Just take a moment there. Neutral spine if you can. Press the pelvis heavy to the floor or hips heavy to the floor. Let's change that movement setup. You can repeat that sequence again if you wish, or take the legs into tabletop, knees over the hips, shins are parallel to the ceiling. Slightly different movement with the legs. Let's take a breath in. We're going to curl up, extend the leg out, point the toe, inhale, return. 5 more to go, and return. Try to return to that neutral spine every time you lower the head to the floor, so the hips are really nice and heavily connected. 1 more each leg. Really working through abdominals and working through the quads on this one as well. Bring those feet down one at a time. And we're just going to finish with focusing on the oblique abdominals for our last movement. I'm just going to turn away from you so you can see where the movement is going to go. Exactly the same position with your hands supporting the head, floating up into tabletop, or you can keep the feet on the floor. First variation, breathe in to prepare. I'm going to lift one leg into tabletop. I'm going to look straight past the outside of that leg and inhale and return. Switching sides, you'll see elbow and shoulder remain connected on the tabletop leg side. Try not to tuck your chin. You could be up in tabletop and extending the leg out as you work through these oblique curls. Good, let's do a couple more. One more this side. Remember, you could be doing feet connected to the floor or tabletop. Let's return. Bring those feet down one at a time. I'm just going to come back to side on. Shift my cushion around. Whoops. And we've lost our microphone. Where on earth has it gone? Slight technical hitch here. Alright. Just about done, folks. I think I might hold on to this for the end. All right, so what I'm going to get you to do is 2 options to come up to standing. Either extending your legs out, reaching your arms overhead. Take a breath in. Rolling up to seated. Or if that is not comfortable for you, what I want you to do is bring those legs in to relax, extend the arm out, roll over to the side, and let the shoulder and hip take your weight up off the floor. So hold on to my microphone. I'm just going to pop this down on the floor, or we'll reattach. Where are we? Oh, there we go. I'll hold on to this. Okay, we're back into 4-point kneeling. If you recall, the way we came down to the floor, heels are up, taking a breath in to prepare. Exhale into your pike, hips up, head between the shoulders. Walking those fingertips in, heels relaxed to the floor, sweep those fingertips off the floor. Taking a breath in and exhaling and rolling up out of your forward fold. If you have room, extend those arms out and relax them down by your sides and just shrug and roll through those shoulders. Thank you so much, guys. Let's hope I don't have any more technical glitches with the microphone with the next session. Have a great day, and you can find me on YouTube channel D Hours Eastside Training Squad. Thank you.